My name is Marie Davis.
Michael Rice.
My name is Anne McArdle.
I am St Vincent de Paul volunteer.
I'm a volunteer with St Vincent de Paul.
Brian Olam.
My name is Tony Byrne and I'm a volunteer with Vincent de Paul.
I'm Teresa Gilson.
I'm a volunteer with the SVP.
My name is Philomena Osborne and I'm a volunteer with St Vincent de Paul.
My name is Linda Carwin. I'm a St Vincent de Paul volunteer.
My name is Laura. I'm with St Vincent de Paul now 6 months. I joined to give back to the people, and it's great having the good feel factor knowing that you're helping people out.
I'm a member with St Vincent de Paul for just over 6 months now. My reasoning for joining the organisation was because I wanted to assist people that could do with a little bit of help.
My name is Michael. I joined St Vincent de Paul in 2008 because I felt that I could give time and help to people in need, and I feel so lucky that I have done so well in my own life, and I just want to give something back.
I first joined St Vincent de Paul 2.5 years ago, and the reasons for joining is because I love meeting people all the time. I love helping people, and after 2.5 years, the satisfaction I get from the work that we do in the organisation is really fantastic.
Let's stick together.
We're here in the regional office, the hub of St Vincent de Paul, North East and Midlands region. Here we receive calls for assistance from the general public. So what happens when somebody rings somebody that is in need? They ring us here in the office, we take their details and we put them in touch with their local branch of St Vincent de Paul, each branch being called a conference. We can also offer them a local number if they so wish. We then contact on their behalf the local branch, who will arrange to go and visit the family or the person in need and speak with them about how we can best help. Home visitation has always been and is still really the core activity of the society. Visitation conference members usually meet on a weekly basis and they discuss at those meetings all of the cases that they've been presented with. Decisions are then made as to how best to help people, and it goes without saying that all details of the visits are kept confidential. It is really awe-inspiring to think that our members are volunteers who give up their own free time to help other people.
The visitation is so important. It's so important to whether it's the young mammy or the older person left alone, particularly. They just love somebody to give their time. We don't have to go with bags of food or a purse of money or anything like that. Your time, if you can give 1 hour, 1 week, that's sufficient.
We fit together.
Our conference members in 3 Mile House, County Monaghan, are involved in the running of a daycare centre. Drumkill Daycare Centre is a facility that cares for the elderly and for people with Alzheimer's.
The Daycare Centre officially opened in 1993, which was the year of the elderly, and the most senior citizen in the parish opened the centre, and she lived till she was 104. Research really was from the older people in the parish, and as a result of the research we had hairdressing, chiropody, showers and all the necessary services that were requested. Whatever the needs of the elderly, we provide the service, whatever they request.
Every day is beautiful.
The Oslam Holiday Centre is run by St Joseph's Conference SVP, and we are essentially a holiday centre for elderly people.
We have 31 ensuite twin rooms, all on ground level, so they're all suitable for people with mobility problems. Our facilities include a bar, a day room. We have our TV room with a widescreen TV. We have a sunroom with a library. We have an oratory here where we can have services during the week of your stay. Our stays are for 6 nights, from a Sunday until a Saturday, with 5 nights entertainment included on a full board basis.
The motto of the Osmond Holiday Centre is friendship, and we concentrate on that. We want to make everybody that comes here as welcome as possible. The place was opened in 1964. Now we have one lady who is still coming to this present day. She comes here every year and thoroughly enjoys herself. And if she said if she won the lotto, she wants to buy a place down here and give us money, which we would very much welcome.
We're here today at Bethany House in Longford, and Bethany House offers accommodation and support to women and children who are out of home due to domestic abuse or at a time of crisis. It's a 19-bed unit, and we offer support and advice and follow-on links to other service providers as well, dependent on what service the client needs. We have fully trained staff here in these areas who work with the clients on a one-to-one basis. Let it be if it's domestic abuse, we work with them around what their needs are. If it's barring orders or protection orders, then we help them work along those lines, and we also do court accompaniments with them. We also have outreach workers, so when they leave Bethany House, we have people who will link in with them afterwards to make sure that everything is going the way it should be going for them. We would have clients who have left maybe 3 years ago who still contact the service just to link in with us and let us know how they're doing, which is great for us as well, because at least we know they're succeeding in independent living. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, because we would have people who would come back to us, especially people who would have addictions and would obviously relapse. But we're still there to offer the support and advice that they need and help them to get back on track again.
St Joseph's Housing Conference was founded in 1998 and has been going for the last 15 odd years. It comprises of about 5 members, and the reason for the founding of this conference was that it was determined at the time that there was a need for more social housing in Cavan. The waiting lists for the County Council were very long, and there were a lot of people in need of not just housing but sheltered housing. Our first project was to build St Clair's Gardens, which was completed in 2000, and it's a block of 16 units mixed between single and 2-bed units. We then built Suvnus preceded that. Suvnus was built first, and then St Clair's in 2000. The Suvnus Housing Conference comprises 8 single-bed units, and they tend to be because they're on the flat, they tend to be for the more elderly people. And then latterly in 2005 we built 10 other units here that are useful for just very short stays. We have also taken under our wing the Vincent shop here in Cavan, and the shop helps to subsidise the activities of the housing conference. We're currently in the process of completing a new build, and the new build is for a community preschool. On the ground floor and on the upper floor we're going to have social and meeting rooms for number one for our tenants, and for we're proposing to do after school homework classes and a lot of other activities.
We're here in St Martha's Hostel Longford. We cater for homeless men. The age profile is 18 to 80. Our oldest service user was 82, as a matter of fact. We officially opened in 1996 as a night shelter. We had a capacity of 6 beds. We extended in 2008, and we have a capacity now of 11 beds, plus we have a self-contained unit which we converted as well. Last year was our busiest year. We had 56 residents, and there was over 3,000 beds used in the year. This year is progressing even further. We are on a cuff of around 45 residents at the moment, and bed figures are over 3,000 with 4 months to go. We can't take self-referrals anymore, that's our guide, but if somebody comes late at night and is stuck for a bed, we'd always put them up for one night because of who we are, St Vincent de Paul, caring for people.
The work we generally do is house visitation. It'll be the major work we do. We have calls of about 50 calls a week for people who need food, fuel or clothing. We also assist people with education. During 2014 we assisted 97 people. They would be people who would be on maybe social welfare and wouldn't have the necessary funds for books and starting college, 4 grants would be paid. Grants generally are 6 weeks after the start of college, maybe the middle of October, where they'd be starting in a technical college on the 1st of September.
Well, we have 4 visitation conferences in Athlone town itself and 3 in the surrounding areas. We have 2 conferences on the east of the Shannon and 2 conferences to the west of the Shannon as well. And I'm on the Connacht side because I'm a member of the St. Peter's Conference in Athlone here in the town. As a member of that visitation conference, our work is principally involved in looking after families and people in need. We offer financial support, obviously, but we also offer the hand of friendship to people that are struggling. These are not necessarily people that you would typically associate with being in financial difficulties. Very often we have people who are working and who are employed, but maybe they're on low wages and they're finding the increasing cost of living to be a burden.
Another programme St Vincent de Paul North East is involved in is our recycling project. We currently have just over 200 clothing banks sited across the region, and the income generated from the clothing banks goes directly to people in need.
The St Vincent de Paul Recycling Project is mainly made up of 200 clothing banks sited across the North East region. The clothing banks are fully branded with the SVP logos and are blue in colour, like this one here beside me. What happens is people come and they donate their unwanted clothes into the St Vincent de Paul Clothing Bank, which are collected 3 times per week and are fully covered by public liability. The clothes are then taken to a central depot, which is located in Drogheda, and the clothes are then sorted through, and the good quality, saleable, resaleable clothes are taken out and redistributed to one of our Vincent's shops in the North East region. That way we can maximise the money and the income for St Vincent de Paul. So I would strongly urge any members of the public to donate any of their unwanted clothes into their nearest SVP clothing bank, and we'll make sure that we can increase the income to the society of St Vincent de Paul.
We fit together.
In the sorting depot, we collect clothes. The vans bring the clothes into us and are stacked against the wall. The 2 lads that go sorting bring them over to the desks. The good clothes are separated and put into the trolleys, and Dolores puts a second check on them. And if they're still suitable, then they go down into the warehouse, into the different areas. Any of the other clothes is recycled and goes onto the truck for recycling. All the clothes that come in here is well worth it because it's all used either going into recycling or into the shops for revenue.
We also have 25 Vincent's shops, which are situated in a variety of places across the region. From the regional office, we are in contact all of the time with the shops in terms of health and safety, how their shops are run, and how we can best support the shops on a daily operational basis.
There's been a lot of changes in our shops over the last few years. Our shops used to be known as St Vincent de Paul and are now known as Vincent's. Customers have increased, in particular since we came to our shop in Dundalk, due to the presentation, which is great.
Look how the stars turn on. Look how the stars turn.
So here in the Vincent shop in Ashbourne, it's a bit different maybe from some of the other shops because it's totally run by volunteers. We have no paid staff, no managers as such. We have three of us sort of co-manage the shop. We have about 25 volunteers. We open 4 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday. And our shop is 3 years old at this point. Well, there's been a Vincent de Paul shop in Ashbourne for well over 25 years, but the old shop was a very small prefab in the grounds of the church. And 3 years ago we decided to bite the bullet and try and get a new premises, and this is what this is our shop, lovely shop, and it's been really, really successful, and it takes in a lot of money for the St Vincent de Paul.
So, what do we do with the money?
We support the education of children from primary to third level. We support families directly through food parcels, repairs of washing machines, cookers, oil tanks, provide oil and heating. Our main focus is children, support of children. We don't make judgments against a family where there obviously are issues because of deprivation. But our main focus is children, to ensure that they're fed and that they have conditions in a home that the normal person should have.
St Vincent de Paul in the North East are involved in a variety of activities which the general public may not be aware of. One such programme is our Youth for Justice programme, where we have a youth development officer visiting our schools and having some 500 students at the moment involved in various projects. Each year then we have an exhibition which showcases the presentations of the students, and that's a really, really successful project, raising the awareness of the society across the region and indeed across Ireland.
My name is Amy Dalton and this is St Vincent's Secondary School. We're TY3 and we raised money for SVP by doing a 24-hour fast, and we were twinned with Zimbabwe for the whole project. It was great.
I'm the youth development worker for the North East region. I work in the secondary schools and there are 55 here in our region. My work involves responding to requests for general talks on the work of SVP, also supporting any teachers that are interested in setting up youth conferences in their schools, and we have 3 up and going. But the majority of my work is around running the Youth for Justice programme. And the Youth for Justice programme is aimed at TY students and offers them the opportunity to take up action projects on behalf of St Vincent de Paul. These projects are closely linked with our work, and they involve education, befriending, fundraising and social justice. In May, I organised the Youth for Justice exhibition, which is a showcase of all the projects the young people have been involved in. And last year we had 22 projects involving 15 schools, and over 600 young people participated in the programme. So it's a fabulous day for St Vincent de Paul and a very positive thing all round. We want to involve young people in our work because it's our hope that this experience will stay with them and that they may volunteer in the future, either at third level or as adult members in their community. But also, by engaging with our young people, we hope to tap into their energy, their enthusiasm, their fresh thinking, new ideas, but also that we can share with them our knowledge, skills and experience. And together we can form a partnership, a really good partnership that will make sure that we as an organisation are here in the future to meet the needs of the people we serve.
Look how the stars turn on when I hold you close, when I hold you close.
My name is Madeleine and I'm a volunteer with the Society, and I represent the SVP North East on the National Social Justice and Policy Committee. And we lobby the government, the ministers, the committees, the Oireachtas committees, on all issues that affect the disadvantaged in our society. We are the voice of the disadvantaged. On the education side, in the North East here, we have a great policy of supporting education to break the cycle of dependency for the disadvantaged. We support people who return to education. We support families who are struggling with the costs of primary school, of post-primary school, the cost of transition year, the cost of uniforms and all the associated costs. And we give subvention to families who have children at third level, because there are so many times that they're waiting for grants, and without our help they would have to leave college.
As you may be aware, St Vincent de Paul is a large organisation spanning the 32 counties of Ireland. Our national office is based in Dublin, and the regional office here in the North East is the liaison between national office and our conferences, and our 1,200 members that are actually on the ground physically carrying out the work of St Vincent de Paul.
I joined St Vincent de Paul because it is an organisation that has social justice at the very heart of the charity. It's the principles of helping people to help themselves is something. It's not just simply giving handouts to people. It's helping people so that they can move on with their lives with respect and with dignity. What appealed to me was the practical, very much hands-on nature of the work, that you are directly meeting the people that are in need. And many people that avail of the assistance from St Vincent de Paul have told me that without St Vincent de Paul they would truly be in dire straits, possibly facing homelessness, bankruptcy and so on. So I feel that the work that we do here it's invaluable.
Now you've had a glimpse of the work of the Society of St Vincent de Paul in the North East and Midlands region, whether that was through our visitation conferences, our special works or our youth initiatives. We have many, many volunteers, but we're always on the lookout for new volunteers. And you can visit us on our website svp.ie or call our free phone number 1800 677 777.
We are St Vincent de Paul. Help us help people in need.